Have you ever opened the trunk of a brand new car, lifted the floor panel, and found absolutely nothing underneath? No spare tire, no jack, just an empty space. For generations, a spare tire was one of those things you never thought about until you desperately needed it. It sat quietly in the trunk, rarely used, but always reassuring. So why are so many new cars getting rid of it? Is this progress or a problem waiting to happen? Let's find out. For decades, spare tires were standard. It didn't matter if you bought a small sedan or a family SUV, you knew a backup tire was coming with it. Road trips felt safer. Long highways felt less risky. But over the last 10 to 15 years, something shifted. More and more car manufacturers quietly removed the spare tire from their vehicles. Instead, you might get a small air compressor, a sealant kit, or sometimes nothing at all. One of the biggest reasons behind this change is weight. Modern cars are under intense pressure to meet fuel efficiency standards. Governments around the world have set strict regulations on emissions and gas mileage. And when engineers design a car, every single pound matters. A spare tire, along with a jack and tools, can add around 30 to 50 pounds. That might not sound like much, but when manufacturers produce millions of vehicles, even small weight reductions can improve fuel economy numbers across an entire fleet. Better fuel economy means lower emissions ratings, and that helps companies meet government targets. So from a regulatory standpoint, removing the spare tire makes sense. But that's only part of the story. Another major factor is space. Modern cars are designed very differently compared to vehicles from the past. Today's vehicles prioritize cabin comfort, technology, and in many cases, batteries. Especially in hybrid and electric cars, space underneath the vehicle is often filled with battery packs. There simply isn't room for a traditional spare tire anymore. Even in gas-powered cars, designers want sleeker shapes, lower profiles, and more cargo flexibility. Removing the spare gives engineers more freedom to rearrange components and maximize interior space. Then there's tire technology. Many new vehicles now come equipped with run-flat tires. These are specially reinforced tires that can continue operating for a short distance even after losing air pressure. In theory, if you get a flat, you can drive 50 miles or so to a repair shop without ever changing a tire on the roadside. That sounds convenient. But run-flat tires aren't perfect. They're often more expensive to replace. The ride can feel stiffer. And once damaged, they usually can't be repaired. They must be replaced entirely. For cars without run-flats, manufacturers often include tire repair kits instead of a spare. These kits use sealant to temporarily patch small punctures and reinflate the tire. But here's the catch. Sealant kits only work for minor tread punctures, if your tire blows out, if the sidewall tears. If you hit a deep pothole and damage the rim, that kit won't help you. At that point, you're relying completely on roadside assistance. And that brings us to convenience versus independence. In the past, if you had a flat tire, you could pull over and fix it yourself. It wasn't always fun, but it was possible. Today, many drivers don't even realize their car doesn't have a spare until they restuck on the side of the road. Manufacturers are betting that most people would rather call roadside assistance than change a tire themselves. With smartphones and emergency services widely available, companies assume help is always just a phone call away. But that assumption doesn't always hold true. Remote highways, rural areas, bad weather, no cell signal. In those situations, not having a spare tire can turn a simple inconvenience into a serious problem. There's also a financial angle. Spare tires, jacks, and tools cost money to produce and install. Removing them saves manufacturers money, especially at scale. Multiply that savings across hundreds of thousands of vehicles, and it becomes significant. Of course, that doesn't mean cars are getting cheaper for consumers. It simply reduces production costs for the companies. So when you combine fuel efficiency goals, space limitations, modern tire technology, and cost savings, it becomes clear why spare tires are disappearing. But is this trend permanent? Not entirely. Some vehicles still offer spare tires as optional add-ons. Others include smaller temporary donut spares instead of full-sized ones. And many drivers choose to purchase their own spares separately for peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, a spare tire represents something simple. Self-reliance. It's old school, it's practical. And for many people, it's reassuring. Technology keeps evolving, cars keep changing. But sometimes the simplest backup plan is still the most dependable one. So next time you buy a new car, don't just check the horsepower or the touchscreen size. Open the trunk, look underneath, And ask yourself, are you comfortable driving without a backup? Because when it comes to flat tires, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.